What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of the not live Burly Fishing podcast. On this additional not live version, we will be not live and we will be talking about something nerdy. Welcome back to part two, a different edition of the Burly Fishing Nerd Hour. In this hour, we're going to be talking about video games because video games are lit and everybody should play them. And we're going to talk about specifically more of our favorite ones in different categories, kind of like we did with the movies last week. And, we're sorry that we're not listening to you right now because we pre-recorded these. So if you hate them, let us know. If you love them, let us know. And we'll consider doing these more often, maybe live, or maybe we'll save these for like our placeholder episodes when we're gone. So last week we were at ICAST. We're now back. Paul, did you have a good time at ICAST?
It was exhausting, but now I'm rich and famous, and I have two new jobs. And you know what?
Wow.
It was worth going.
Yeah.
It was worth going to.
Paul has started a YouTube channel at ICAST. He's now at 1 million subscribers. You guys, congrats. Congrats. You guys, we're still at ICAST. So here's the timeline I'll paint for y'all. We pre-recorded these on a Tuesday before our last live. And we are putting this out way ahead of time. It's gonna be scheduled to go up on the days it's going up. So at this point in time, next week, we will be back. We will be live. We will have fun. We'll talk about other stuff. We'll only talk about video games and movies for probably like 15 minutes of the 270-minute runtime that is our podcast. And we hope you guys enjoy that. But this is our opportunity to nerd out. We like to nerd out. It's a lot of fun to talk about this stuff. We base a lot of our conversations in media of some sort, usually video games and movies, when we're just joking around the fire. So we just figured we'd share this with you for 2 episodes and see how it goes. It's an experiment.
To be clear, like this is the content that gets people like jazzed up. Like when we end up talking video games or movies, members only, but even in the regular show, like people get heated, the comment section lights up. So we're just picking up what you're putting down. If we're wrong, let us know, but we're gonna hit it. So
but we're right. So
yeah, and Chaz is actually not here. The reason this is pre-recorded is he's on this episode now, but it's because it's July 13th. And it went out at this recording. It's July 13th, but at the end of July, Chaz is actually not here right now, which is why you're listening to a recorded show versus a live show. So
Chaz is hammered in a tornado / downpour, and he is inside of a duct tape or electrical taped tent. So he's barely surviving, but he has
just like last time.
He has at least 3 cases of Bud Light, so he's going to make it at least 14 more hours.
Plenty of bologna slices. I'm sure lots of bologna. Again. Fingers crossed.
Not wearing a shirt or shoes, and he's fishing from the shore and saying that swim baits are the only thing that exists. All right, so here's the deal, you guys. We do have a members only live. It is coming up on August 10th, which is a Tuesday. It'll be at our normal runtime, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you guys are shark deucers, or if you are the Snorlax crew, we're talking about our YouTube memberships. If you join up, you can hop in there with us if you're a Snorlaxer. Not only can you go on the live on video and talk to us in person, which is a ton of fun. We had a blast with our last members live in July, where we had, I think, 4 or 5 guests on the show, which is fantastic. So don't miss out on that.
2.5 hours.
Yeah. If you want to learn more about memberships, check out below. You can click the link that says join right below this video, whether on mobile or on your desktop browser. And then you can watch a little 30-second clip of me talking about what the membership levels are. And it definitely supports us. It helps us out a ton. We appreciate you guys so much, whether you join up or not. But we heart our members.
And we're working on a little something special for people who are members. So we're working on a t-shirt release.
The artwork survey probably next week.
Yeah, we want the artwork to be solid, but
perfect.
If you are a Snorlaxer?
Snorlaxers get it. Just Snorlaxers.
Just Snorlaxers will get it. So we'll give you a period of time to become a Snorlaxer, and if in that period of time, at the end of that period of time, if you are a Snorlaxer, you're just gonna get the t-shirt. There'll be no extra payment, nothing like that. We're just gonna send it to you. We'll let you place the order. We'll send whatever you order. It'll be a special order, one-shot deal. We'll never make that shirt again. And it's gonna be awesome. And I'm gonna get 5 for myself. That's what I'm saying. I'm getting 5 for myself.
Same here. So it's going to be something fun that we say in a lot of our videos. So something that maybe was a goof or kind of dumb the first time, but then people just kept saying it. You guys already know what we're talking about. There's been some cool ideas tossed out there. We're going to pick our top 5 that we've seen so far from members only and from our lives. And then we're going to throw it up on a survey on YouTube and probably on Instagram too. So whatever gets voted the highest, that's going to be the shirt that we choose. And if you're a Snorlaxer, you'll get it. So without further ado, like, subscribe, do all the things. We're on all the social media networks ever, and we're anywhere you find podcasts. So let's roll into the show.
All right, so Q of the D. We're still doing Q of the D. We're skipping most of the other stuff. We're still doing Q of the D.
Heck
so
yeah.
this one, video game related. If you could, and this will get justified throughout the show. I already, as I was doing the show, I was like, I'm gonna like unconsciously justify my choice as I go through. So if you could only have one console to play for the rest of time, Chaz, we already know you're a PC. If you could only have one
That's
console.
not a console, though.
Ooh,
I'm taking that out.
Good
That doesn't
point.
count.
I love this.
Yep.
Okay, if you could only have one console forever that you could only play this one for the rest of time, what would it be?
Not
And
close.
don't say PlayStation 9. I don't want to hear about that. It's got to be a current console.
So not close for me is the Nintendo Switch. And I wrote the entire Nintendo Switch category of this show. So if we get to that in time, I'll talk about why. But for me, it is, I guess some people, you know, they don't like it for like the graphics are not as good as PlayStation 4 even, which I agree with. They're coming out with a new OLED screen version, which is going to be a huge upgrade and a little bit bigger, but it's more about like the graphics, and it's an OLED screen, so it's just a way better screen. So I'm gonna get that edition, but actually have mine here because I had to remember all the games that I have on it. But oh dude, it's my child's now. I don't play it anymore. That's the problem.
You don't have anything clean when you have kids.
My
That's
child plays
spotless.
These are boogers. There's There's probably earwax in there. There's probably
there's like 1,600 grams of Cheerio dust.
The joysticks are all jacked up, dude. It's my kids now. I'm getting a new shiny one that's only mine. She can't touch it.
As far as kids' toys goes, that is basically out of the package.
Freaking money. But yeah, I mean, I'm a big Nintendo guy. Like, it's again kind of a combination. Throwback to the movies, nostalgia a little bit, just like the games I grew up on. I had mostly Nintendo stuff, so I really am like attached to them. And the Switch is so cool because I used to use emulators a lot, like on my computer. Don't tell anybody, so I don't go to jail. You guys wouldn't rag on me. But so because I love like all the nostalgic games, the older games, and Switch is one of those platforms that actually like brought them all back, made them readily available. They've redone and made HD versions of like some of my favorite games, worked out a lot of the bugs, made them better. I'm like, dude, I'm sold on this thing, and they're still dropping. Yeah, the online store for Nintendo is amazing. The online play is not, but I don't do online multiplayer, so I don't care. So for me, it's just all these amazing games. So that's mine, and it's portable / you can play it on TV too. So that's mine.
Mine would actually be PlayStation. Mainly,
which one? The first,
or just like which one?
The newest one, PlayStation 5.
Or 5? Oh yeah, that's right, 5.
But
mainly,
you got like no games right now. You got like nothing.
I know, but mainly because
you can play it forever, so there will be games. So,
Xbox is making all their exclusive titles like you can play it on PlayStation. Like they're making
Microsoft signed a deal. They're supposed to do that with Nintendo too. Mm-hmm. They're just like giving it up. They're like, "What up? We don't care. Here you go."
Finally.
I love it.
I mean, finally. That's be
great.
Real. Finally.
Oh, 100%. Sick of the console wars.
So, really, but why PlayStation then?
Because then I can get the PlayStation exclusives that they won't have on Xbox.
Because you like PlayStation games better than Xbox games.
But that won't last.
Yeah, for right now. But
sure. It won't last.
During PlayStation 5,
will last for like a couple years.
During PlayStation 5, it's gonna last though.
I don't think that. Yeah,
all right. So what's yours?
If someone's giving it up, I think everyone will give it up. That's the way of technology. People will get ticked off and they will not buy the console.
We all know Nintendo's never gonna give up Mario.
That's where you're wrong, bro, Chacho. Because Nintendo will never give anything.
Fair.
Nintendo's possibly the just like shrewdest of business practices out of all of them, and I still love them, but they do a lot of shady stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean Bandai, same thing. I mean, like that's why you're never gonna see a good Dragon Ball Z title for no reason. They just don't. Yeah. If it's not core, they're like, nah, brah. All right. Argue, that's fair. So mine, I'm actually very like I've never had a Switch, so I'm probably already not in the conversation because I got out of video games early. But I'd probably in my own best interest, should pick Switch because of the graphics, but I'm very comfortable saying N64.
See, that because of all the games that I had on there, but all those games are
I
either
get
on
you. Yep.
Xbox and or Nintendo now on the Switch.
So I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable making a decision for myself that I don't like to say. I'm going to say Switch as well. And it's
Fair
like,
enough.
and we will justify this. But even if someone was like, well, you can either you have to pick one or the other. Never having had a Switch, I'm pretty comfortable. Would not be upset if someone made me pick N64.
Fair. I'd agree
Not
with that.
upset.
That's one of my favorite consoles of all time is N64.
Silly fun. All right.
Which we did this on the movie episode, just so you guys know, quick reminder, we were born in the 80s, late 80s, 87 for you, 88 for me. Chaz was not. Chaz was born in 93. But we kind of grew up in that era where we literally, I've seen every Nintendo console and or owned it.
Yeah.
Like that from NES on, I've had them all. And I've played tons of games on all of them, which is why I dig like the retro emulator setup and stuff like that. And now the Switch. But just so you get a feel for where we came from, we've had all those consoles. Like either myself or my friends have had like every PlayStation, every Xbox, like all of them.
Super Nintendo,
Yep.
Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I had NES. I did not have the Super Nintendo. I had the Sega Genesis. I had the N64. And then I had the PlayStation 2, I think I got after that. The fat edition of the PlayStation 3, which was like an 80 gigabyte hard drive, which is microscopic in today's day and age. That was holding games. And then the PlayStation 4 is what I currently have, and the Switch. And I've played like tons of computer games too.
So I started with the Atari.
You had an Atari in '93? Why? Well, you didn't play it when you were born, but like 95, 6, 7.
Because my mom.
No, it'd have been like.
My mom and my grand maintained it. So
you had one of those situations. I had that stuff too. Like DVDs were well out, and my grandparents only had VHSs, or like my stepdad's house. It was the early 2000s, like when my parents got married, and he had only a Sega Genesis, and I think one of my grandparents' boyfriends or whatever at that time too. Well, that's what they had, like nothing else. What I'm saying, just old titles. And then, like my grandma's boyfriend at one time had a PlayStation 1. So I was playing like Res Evil 2. Anytime I went to his house, like it was all he's had.
my Atari is still actually in perfectly working condition somehow.
That's rad.
I have Frogger.
I wouldn't know.
And Space Invaders or whatever all on it as well.
Yeah, don't fall for the hype for those like mini consoles.
Yeah, no.
I need those to stop. Those things are trash. Complete garbage. Don't do it.
Then I had the Sega Genesis, the N64, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, Xbox
you made the
One,
jump.
But during that entire time, I was playing PC as well.
There you go.
All right. So I started off with what is probably gonna. I don't know if this will. I don't think this will make people mad, but it'll probably surprise you. This will probably let you know the depth of how nerdy this is gonna get. So most underrated video games ever made. I'll go first because I made the list.
You made the list. I didn't put anything on
I made
this list.
this
I'm gonna
list.
have to think up something.
So Jeff's gonna have to think a couple. I know Charles will come up with a couple. So for me, these are underrated. So these are games you may not even know about. So for me, Armored Core was hands down maybe the most underrated game that I've ever played, that I think probably no one has ever played, that kicked so much butt and should have been rated higher. It was like mech suits, but like the real person world was like not really ever a thing. Like you only went to the real person world to like execute leveling up your mech, and it was all about like tournament battles. So like it was your type of like machine, like you either had like the big bulky machine that shot rockets and like was super armored but very slow, but then they had like all these like super customizable levels, and there was like a whole tournament grid that you had to like work through, and there was a story mode, and as you play the story mode you get upgraded parts, and the part list was like not short, and it was very in depth, and it was awesome. Like it was so much fun. You could play it constantly and like make up like different types of these like super awesome, mech suits. So much fun. The Thief series. So I think that was a PlayStation exclusive when it started, but I think you can get them anywhere now, and there are a lot more than I ever played. But I played the first think 2 or
Mhm.
3. It was like Splinter Cell meets like Mystic World. It was so much fun, and you just stole stuff from people. Like your whole goal was to like go into these like really crazy places and
Yeah.
steal things. But they added a twist where it was like you could get like different magic powers, and the magic
Mhm.
powers were all based around like they had like you could go into like the stick world of people where like they lived in the woods and they were like gypsies, and you could like get their type of powers, or you get like the rich people like type of powers and they were like secret society people, or you could just be like an archer. Like there were all these different like it was so much fun. I
Yep.
loved it. And then this one, I don't know if it's maybe underrated. I don't know if this one's flying under the radar or not. It was one of the best computer games I ever played. It was Deus Ex.
I don't think that's underrated.
Oh, okay.
I think it might have originally fell into like a cult classic, but then they made that
Yeah.
sequel like way later and nobody liked it.
And the OG was
Yeah.
I played that way too much. And then the next one for me is the original Fable, and the second one. That series was
Pretty good one.
so much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
I dig it. So Chaz added 2. 3. Diddy Kong Racing?
Nope. Delete it. That's not underrated.
That's
Delete
not
it. That's one of the
underrated.
highest selling titles for
Yeah.
N64. Delete that. It's
Yeah,
not. It's a
that
great
was
game.
like
Delete it.
that was like the original run of games. That was like one of the first ones that
Delete
came out.
it. It came with it came with the console.
It didn't come with it, but it was on the box. You know, they had like 4 or 5 games.
I think you
They had,
could
like,
get it
Mario
with one of the.
64.
I think you could get it with one of the consoles. I think that was
Probably.
one of your options. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna.
Yeah, look at
No,
the back
not
of an
good.
N64 box, you guys.
Yeah,
Mario
it's-
64, Star Fox 64, Mario
Yeah.
Kart, Diddy Kong Racing. Was
They're all
on there.
good games. Don't
Yeah.
get me wrong.
Fantastic.
Nothing's not good. So, no. All right, Jeff.
Okay, so I put on The Suffering 1 and 2. If you guys haven't played this for the PlayStation 2, fantastic games, need to be remade at some
Yes.
point in time, HD. But it was sick. Like you were basically this guy put away for prison for like a murder, but like it was a revenge type murder. Like somebody murdered your family and now you're in jail. And the whole thing is like gothic horror taking place inside of a prison. And like you can turn into a monster creature and just like destroy everything. And it's
Hulk
like
out.
yeah, it's like your evil nature coming out.
Yes.
The story was great. The gore was awesome. It's a horror type game, so there was lots of like jump scares and different things like that. And I was gonna say just like any horror game, but like most horror games end up falling into the underrated category, I feel, or cult classic status.
I would agree.
Yeah, like those types of things, fantastic.
It's a niche. Horror games are kind of a niche.
It definitely is, but it's something I'm all for. I love it. I love a good jump scare in there, like the new Blair Witch game, and we talked about Alien Isolation on the movie episode.
Yep.
I would play those games all day. And then I put most games by the company Rare, which is a company that eventually dissolved, reformed under a different name, and made crappy games. One of which is listed on here because I still like playing it, but it's down the line. Originally because Banjo-Kazooie, which was second to Mario 64 all the time in everybody's book, but for me, above Mario 64 because they hit the Mario 64 camera, and the Banjo-Kazooie camera was way better. So for me, I like the story. It's also somewhat nostalgia because it's just like one of those games that I played over and over again. I've played that game all the way through.
The way you died and the way they staged all the levels is what made it so good, because it created like it was just challenging enough where it kept you sucked in and you didn't quit. And they gave you enough lives to like keep wanting to try. It was a great game.
It's honestly, if you guys don't follow this, it's okay. You can check it out if you want to. Speed running video games, one of the coolest things ever to me. And I know Chaz knows what I'm talking about. He's all on board. But speed runs of Mario games are great.
Oh, I understand. I thought you were talking about a game. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm with you.
Speed running a game, like
Speed
finishing the
runs
game
of
as
Pokemon
fast as you can.
Are insane.
Yeah,
they're stupid.
Some of my favorite to watch were Mario and Banjo-Kazooie. Like any of those runs.
Mario.
Spyro the Dragon was insane as well.
Yeah,
Mario
when they start glitching it out, like it gets crazy.
Mario speedruns are great because I think everyone actually tried to get to the top of the mountain as fast as they could without getting hit. And if you've ever watched that speedrun for Super Mario for 64, where they'll start a timer and they're trying to get all the way up to the top of that mountain to get the mushroom at the end, and that's basically just a giant obstacle course, and watching people do it without getting touched is god mode.
There's so
you
the
know, it's
best ones
actually
are like
God mode is undamaged Dark Souls runs.
yeah, those are
Okay, we're gonna talk
absolutely
about
absurd.
that
We're gonna
game.
get there.
That is God
But,
mode, and
yeah.
it's not close. Yeah,
Quick,
100%.
quick cap on the Mario speedruns. Watch somebody beat Mario with like 1 star or 0 stars in 5 minutes is absolutely baffling to me because they're doing like the backwards long jump up the stairs, and it's like just this special input, and you just like shoot up the stairs, break through walls. Like speedrunning games is cool because they just break the game. Like it's amazing.
Yeah, because like when it comes to
game.
Pokemon, you have to catch like a Pidgey with a very certain like stat line.
It's like a roll of the dice. Yeah.
And if you catch it, you can skip through like 90% of the game.
It's so crazy. I love that people figure that stuff out. To me, that's amazing. Yeah, so that's for me. Rare made a ton of amazing games. First Banjo-Kazooie will always be my favorite, but then they were actually part of like Donkey Kong stuff. Diddy Kong Racing was Rare. Banjo-Tooie, which was the sequel to Banjo-Kazooie.
Which is why they got sold.
Yeah, exactly. Like they made a bunch of bangers. They were part of GoldenEye 007, Perfect Dark. You know,
two of
Jet Force
arguably the
Gemini.
best games. Two of arguably the best games for 64 ever made.
Oh, for sure. They were on all of those. So yeah, that's mine. Chaz, you put 2 on here that I like.
No,
I love the first one.
I put 3 now. Twisted Metal.
Oh, I see the third one. Yeah.
Good call. PlayStation?
Yes, PlayStation 1.
PlayStation 1. Got it. Twisted Metal.
Insane.
Fan to every story.
Game.
So fun.
Yeah. The stories of every character. Just you had to
fun.
play through like every character. There's
It was a fun factor game, which is why I'm on with this one because the fun factor is through the roof. It was like 13 out of 10. So fun.
Dude, you're a murderous clown in an ice cream truck, man. Come on. Like the best logo ever, the flaming hair.
Then you had the local multiplayer where
Yeah, no, it was great.
Yeah.
It was way ahead of its time too.
That should be on a multiplayer game. That's on there.
I agree.
That was a super fun multiplayer game.
Yep.
One of the first multiplayers I played.
the second one, maybe people don't know Dino Crisis.
I know it from
That's
arcades.
so good.
I played it in the arcade. They later made like some like gun attachment versions on like later PlayStations and stuff. Yeah, it was a good game. Those types of shooters in Time Crisis were like
PlayStation banger.
Fun.
PlayStation banger.
Like great game. There was also like a lot of like lore going on behind the scenes because it's very early days of internet.
Yep.
So like, oh, if you do this, you get this, which was never the case.
Ooh, figuring out. You guys remember Game Facts, like FAQs?
Do you remember Game Shark
for the Game Boy?
Remember Game Shark for
you had it for
Sega?
the Game Boy. You had it for the
If you want to
Sega,
just hack,
you had
everything.
it for the PlayStation. Yeah.
There's a cartridge in a cartridge.
All right, we're gonna hit that
so
for sure.
my third one is definitely going to be a sleep.
I never played.
It has probably one of the best soundtracks.
Oh really?
If you like metal in that,
Oh, okay, I see.
you will love Sledstorm.
Because I was to say, I think, and this is gonna be controversial. No.
Best soundtrack of all time. Tony Hawk's
So
Pro Skater.
I'm not saying that. So I have one that will compete in the same genre.
Sure.
And that's Matt Hoffman's BMX.
Tony Hawk blows it out of the
Penny.
water.
Oh,
Not even close.
all right, and then one that
Pro
is
BMX
Skater
Triple X. BMX Triple X.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 had the best soundtrack when it. Yes.
fair.
Yes.
All right.
Oh yeah, Tony Hawk's. Everybody knows that soundtrack.
But if
Here's
you
a-
like,
Everybody, you
like
know, if
hard
you haven't
rock,
listened to, if you haven't listened to Superman by Goldfinger 8 billion times, then you haven't played
We
Tony
don't
Hawk enough.
want to have or 99 Red Balloons. Yeah, there's a
There's
crap
so
ton.
many good.
The one that I will say is original soundtrack, and it was Sega Sonic 2. So every single one of the levels, like all the way through like Aqua Zone, they're ingrained into my soul.
Tell me you guys don't just like flash on like Sega.
And all
that goes through your head all the time.
And all I see is Sonic and Knuckles.
Yep.
So good. All right. So that hits most underrated games. I just thought that would be a fun way to start.
I didn't do this category either.
Here's the next one. So most overrated game. Mine, Little Big Planet was so overrated. They always said like, oh, like it got 10s out of 10s on like every magazine and like IGN and everywhere else, and it was like, and IGN is like very Nintendo like friendly, and it's still like 10 out of 10. Got the game. I tried to make it work. I could not do it, and I like all kinds of games, and you could not make that game fun.
I'm with that.
I come, so I would have No Man's Skies there as well.
Oh, that
Because
for
what game?
sure.
No
What
Man's
game?
Sky.
No Man's Sky is a PC game. Well,
Yes.
it's on consoles too, right?
Yeah,
But
it
was released
crap
too early,
storm.
right?
Way too early. Like
How
5
about
to
Cyberpunk?
yes. But so a little
That
thing about
game's Oh.
IGN and all of them. Whoever
Yeah.
pays, like you can even see this actually if you go look at all their
Oh, if you pay enough money, you
reviews.
get a good review.
Yeah, they don't rate anything lower than 75.
Oh, that's trash. So another one for me, and this will ruffle feathers. Tomb Raider. I tried almost not everyone. I tried like all of the major titles that Tomb Raider released, and I was always like, why are people obsessed with this? Like, this is fine. Like, it's not bad, but it's like I just played it. I had no desire to play it again. I had no desire to up the difficulty. I was just like, this is literally. I would rather play Mission Impossible for N64 over and over and over again. Like, this sucks.
You saying that just reminded me of another underrated game for the PlayStation.
Jeff, you could go ahead and delete your entire existence.
Thrasher.
Thrasher?
It's a skateboarding game.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but that's only because you were. I'm gonna make the argument
at the time when it came out. It was
no. Can I make an argument for that game though? Because I agree with you, but it's because I'm a Tony Hawk like diehard, and you were kind of like in camps of those types of games. And if you were in one, then you lived in one. But I can understand how someone who was like not in that world was like, "This is my game. Like I like this version." So I will agree with you for my own personal opinion, but someone in the comments is going to be like, Chaws has no opinions anymore. They're irrelevant because you're silly. So I can understand that person as well because
Thrasher is a modern day Skate 3.
I get it. I get it
compared to the older Tony Hawks.
But people but they had a following. All right, I'm with you. So Jeff, you've added a couple here.
Yep. I will only change this for one other game, and I don't care if you're mad either. BioShock.
Nope.
Yeah.
Fallout is a lot more overrated than BioShock.
Well, yeah. So
people can't see the show notes. People can't see the show notes. Jeff has Fallout on here. I'm ready to go to war.
So this is overrated, and this is an opinion-based show. So here's the
game was New Vegas. Only good one.
Never played it, but the Fallout that I played
3 was garbage.
Fallout. I played Fallout 3, and I did not. It's overrated because I didn't get into it, and I played a lot of it, and I tried really hard with every game. I see you raising your hand, and I'm still making my point here, sir. So you will wait your turn. You take a ticket.
That's not a thing.
But for me, again, overrated means I didn't get into it, so I couldn't get into it. I tried really, really hard. I really did. I wanted to like it, and maybe it's I don't like that genre because I don't play a lot of games in that genre. But for me,
play games in this genre.
That's what it is.
Saying he plays it in that genre though, and he
Fallout
doesn't like
is so overrated. The only good, really good Fallout was New Vegas. The rest were
you guys have made your point, and
Fallout
I thoroughly disagree with you. I'll give you BioShock Infinite is overrated.
No, I'm saying all of them.
BioShock Infinite
is just better games than those.
Is overrated. BioShock 1 and 2 at the time when it came out were amazing.
See, and I played it later, so I'll give that a fair shot. For sure. And I would have played it at the time. I don't remember why I didn't. I wanted to, but it recently dropped on the PlayStation Store, all of them, for like $14. And I was like, yes, obviously, I haven't played these. So I started playing the first one. And I was like, I'm out. I'm done. I paid for these. You can't return on there. Oh, that's fine. I'll eat my $14.
That's why I like Steam. You have 2 weeks and you can play up to 20 hours. No. And you can return it then.
I would probably play the 20 hours because I did. Again, I give every game I play a very fair shot. I just could not do it.
Fallout is like on my list of one of the best ever. I love that game. I don't think it's fair to say it's overrated.
I don't think
I got you. Destiny sucked.
I never played that either.
I played the entire. I played it for probably 2 months, and I never was like, this game is great. Like I wanted it to be awesome. I just thought it was like very like blah. The whole game was like blah. Yeah. But it got like rave reviews.
Yeah.
Who
And
put
I'm
No
willing to
Man's?
give
Who
any
put?
game a second try too.
I will
So
say though, like that is my type of game. Like my type of game, Fallout is like the sweet spot for my type of
I don't
game.
think it's mine. Yeah.
So that's like Skyrim, like
Yeah.
those are my types of like that is my that's
See,
like
but
one of
I'll
my
go
favorites.
Zelda, but I won't go Skyrim, Witcher,
Yeah,
Fallout. I'm just not into them.
Witcher is like the fabric of my soul. Like
You know
so
what you know what I think it is though, dude?
Which is a
Is
great
like
game.
I know how much time you have to put into those games, and the only game I've honestly been willing to put that much time into is Zelda Breath of the Wild.
and
And
that's
like
my that's why
I was just like, this is the only time I'm doing this. I'm never getting another game like this.
and that's why I feel like Little Big Planet was easy for me to say because I put way more than enough time to like make an opinion on it, and like I enjoy those kinds of like fun, whimsical games, anyways. And it
It was a
never,
console carrier too, because it's one of those console games that always drops when the new PlayStation drops.
Yes.
There's another new one right now with the PS5.
Yep.
And like
So-
I'm with you. Like that's their icon guy, it's Sackboy or whatever it is. And like
Just
he's one of their
trash.
icons. And
But
it's just not good.
But
So-
Fallout has had misses in the titles.
For sure.
Especially
I'm not.
recently.
Yo, the
76
latest
was,
ones
like, a
awful,
disaster.
awful. But everything before that,
All right.
I was totally in on. I loved it,
So-
and those are my kind of games. So
This is where I come to Fallout. Fallout New Vegas took everything that was wrong and made it right.
Oh.
Then they
Well.
lost it
oh
on the
yeah,
next game.
So I
was
would
trash.
consider my retry being
Like-
New Vegas. And if
New
I still
Vegas
hate
is
it, then I
great.
still hate it.
New
But it-
Vegas
like-
is great.
I would not play. Okay, here's an example. Like so, I don't have any sports games on here.
Neither do
I
I.
don't
'Cause
like.
I think
I don't,
all sports games are overrated.
that's
And
and
I
so
think I'd put them
so-
down on games we don't get. It's at the
Yeah.
top.
So,
that- so
I
that's
buy
where-
one sports
Yeah.
game every 5 to 10 years. Like,
NFL Blitz
I buy
2000.
none.
well,
ever.
I'll buy like Madden. So the last Madden I had until 2020 was 2010. Like,
Yeah, I
I'll
don't.
buy
I just
it once every 10 years because then you'll get enough changes that's actually worthwhile.
Sure.
I'm.
you
But
can replay them.
I understand why people like that game.
Yeah.
I know why I don't like that game. It's not because the game is bad. It's because I don't like sports games. Like the only sports games that I ever liked were jokey ones where all I want to do is like NHL 94
Break
for computer. I
people's
just wanted
backs.
to I wanted to knock people through the glass. NFL Blitz 2000. I just wanted to do forward Z, forward Z, forward Z. The whole offensive line would do instant sack, and then it was just open playing field. Like I wanted to be on fire and run with 6 guys on my back. Like I did never wanted to play like actual sports games for sports. So
Nope.
I didn't put any of them on here. I put them on. I never played them. I never understood them. They just didn't hit the sweet spot for me. But they're good games. So
Like,
like for me,
FIFA.
when Fallout makes the list, I'm like, is it because we just don't like Fallout, Skyrim, gigantic like
I'm not
huge
alone.
in-depth
Chaz is with me.
stories?
Chaz will tell me, other nerds got my back.
Yeah.
All right.
um,
Anyways,
It's polarizing.
You
so
would
when,
have-
when it
yeah,
comes to the
no-
sports games,
Yeah.
one of the main reasons why people like them is FIFA Ultimate Team, specifically for FIFA,
Sure.
because they like to be like, oh, I'm better than you, even though like 95% of people buy all their players.
They
for
love
real
a
world
good
cash.
I
I see where you're coming
people like sports games because they are sports based. All right.
Good one. Carry
so,
on.
We gotta move on. Other games that made the list: No Man's Sky, which I have zero exposure to
So-
whatsoever.
so-
Does No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 2077 fall into the same exact category, which is games that were released before they should have been released because of like overhyped marketing and constant delays that they couldn't delay anymore. But
Well-
the game should have never released because they were not done.
So all
Like
the
No Man's Sky had nothing in it when people
So-
got there.
Let me put it this way: all you would see when you first load up a No Man's Sky's game and landed on a planet was a male genitalia-shaped monster.
Sounds scary.
Sounds terrifying.
All right. So the next one I think is a ton of fun.
Yep.
Best multiplayer games.
Yo, there's some good ones in here, dude.
Bro,
I
the
I
first-
put hours in on these games.
Oh yeah, the first one for me was very easy.
I
and that's
agree with this.
Halo. The first
I would if
one.
I played. I was
Which
never an
Halo?
Xbox
Which
guy.
Halo?
The first one.
Well,
Yeah, I
technically-
never played them.
yeah. Halo 2 is better in my opinion.
I get it. I'll say I could go either one.
You need to understand.
I could go with either one of those. Anything after that, there's no argument for. They're not as good.
Yep.
For the multiplayer,
I always like the story.
Multiplayer specifically.
First of all, the only Halo experience I have, you guys, is I watched Red vs. Blue by Rooster Teeth. And if you guys have not watched all of Red vs. Blue, is
so
like
good.
so funny.
But Halo 3
Halo
maps were great. Halo 3 maps were great.
They just weren't as good. For multiplayer, the sticky bomb was like pretty revolutionary. The pistol was so much fun. You could have the whole game be on the pistol. The rifles were fantastic. The maps were cool because they were more open world than a lot of the other multiplayer maps that had ever been made before for games like that. And then obviously like
On
the world and the
console.
graphics on Xbox were just like head and shoulders above almost everything else. And then the armor was so cool. So and then you also on top of all of that you had the vehicles. So you had like the Warthog and all, and like the alien jet sled and all that. Like it was the Banshee. It was like if you again, it was like one of those things like if you weren't doing that at school with like your friends, like you were out, like you were not cool, and like people like you were missing out on like a core piece of like nerd lore in your
People
in your time.
like just making like a
People like you don't play Halo, like we're not inviting you, like you can't come over because that's all we're gonna do for like 13 hours.
people
like,
would make like a
I never-
20-second clip of like them sniping in Halo 2 and
Yeah.
Halo 3 as well.
100%. Yeah.
I didn't have any friends. I never went to.
I
a
can't
house.
help you there.
All right. So, anyways, so I'm gonna jump to the next one, which I believe is like one of the best shooter multiplayers of all time forever. No questions asked, and that is the GoldenEye 007 for N64.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Conker's Bad Fur Day. I was
No.
like, bro,
I was jumping. I wanted
what
to
in
stay
the-
on theme. Yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day. We're gonna come back to because
Yeah.
it's phenomenal.
GoldenEye 007. GoldenEye 007 is the like it's just it's on the same exact level of Halo. It's just for a different console, different time with different graphics. It
All
was
right.
equally or maybe better.
You guys
It's
like
amazing.
everyone should remember this though. When you play GoldenEye, the controls, unless you set it specifically, were naturally inversed.
And they were slow. They were super slow, so you had to speed it up. You have to go inverted, and then
See,
and
I've always played all my games inverse because of GoldenEye.
And,
you didn't
like,
switch it?
It broke you, and
Yeah.
like your gun would always just like default up unless you turn that off. So you're just like, where am I going?
No, the worst was when you were in the bathroom during the game because you start in the bathroom, you come down in that stall, and it immediately would take you right to the ceiling. Like, why am I looking at ceiling tiles?
And then you're getting shot when the stall door
You
gets
get-
kicked in. Yeah, it's so. First of all, I would say one of the most fun things you guys can do if you're playing GoldenEye 007 is that you have to go to the facility, which is the bathroom scene that Paul's referring to, and you can get up into the ducts, and you can respawn in the ducts too.
Yep.
So you kind of can pick your poison there. But you play this game, you go hide in a stall, and then the other player will get mines, and they will put mines on some stall doors, but they have to leave a few open. So if they blow them up and you die, then they got you, they win, and then you switch teams. But like,
My favorite thing to
so
do
fun.
was grenade launchers in the base, and not in the basement, in
And
the
you can pick the weapon, so you go
in
grenade
the what was
launcher
the
only.
Egyptian Aztec.
Mm-hmm.
Aztec
Yep.
level was Aztec,
Grenade
map was
launchers only.
Aztec, grenade launchers only was the fact that you could because you could do mines only, you
Yep.
could do like you could do
Dude,
you could do
knives.
pistols, but you could add golden guns. So you could do and then you could do double, so you could do double golden guns, and then they had a
Golden
paint.
It's like a one-shot
Then
kill.
they had that was like one shot kill, and then you had the and I would always do it in the basement because they had like all those
Yeah.
things that you could hide in between, and you
Yeah.
would only fight in that one hallway with double golden guns, and then you could because they had 7. No, it wasn't golden guns. Double golden PP7s because you had 7 rounds, and then you did paintball mode, and you could see like you would have paintball shots all over your guns because
Yeah.
you'd be blocking like bullets with your gun. That
Yeah.
was everything about that was
Lasers
just so much
only.
fun.
That game
Lasers only, slappers only.
was slappers only. That game was too fun.
And then if anyone wanted to be, if anyone decided that they were going to be, who's the short guy?
Oddjob?
Oddjob. If you were
Yeah.
Oddjob, you automatically were my least favorite friend. I already knew who you were as a person. You would like stiff bills and not pay people back.
Yeah.
Like you would be like cheating in every game. Like you were not to be trusted. You were not
Yeah.
to be trusted if you were always Oddjob. I couldn't trust you.
Yeah.
And if you were always Jaws, then you were way overconfident, or you were so good it was a little scary. Because Jaws was like 12 feet tall. It's a giant
Yeah.
target. You just get annihilated.
Dude, so good. So I'll jump back to the other one, which was Conker's Bad Fur Day. So Conker's Bad Fur Day, if you guys haven't played multiplayer on it, is phenomenal. It's so fun. So if you're not familiar with the story, it's a very like unconventional game, but there is there's a war sequence in it. Like a whole kind of like phase of the entire game is you're at war, and it's like the squirrels, which is what Conker is, and then evil robot teddy bears. So
Like-
drink that in for a second.
It's like Crash Bandicoot meets GoldenEye.
Yeah, and it plays very much like GoldenEye, except that you're squirrels and teddy bears. And there's like all these crazy guns. There's like turrets and stuff.
But it's
It was
aware of itself. Like
best.
it knows it's so whimsical and it's
it
like
breaks the
okay
fourth
with
wall.
it.
It's like The Room.
It's so much fun.
It's super
Yeah.
weird.
It's-
That's crap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot
It's-
of fun.
hilarious.
South Park Rally is who put that one in there?
Jeff.
I did, because the South Park games, all of them for N64 were actually a lot of fun multiplayer. There was the one that was more like a first-person shooter, and you could throw snowballs, but they would pee on the snowball and throw a pea
Yeah.
snowball at each other. But South Park Rally was like, I would put it in the category of like so bad it's good, and it was
Okay.
just like a blast to race
All
in
right.
it.
I
It was
feel
like
like
it was like a B movie level game.
yeah, I feel
it
like
was
Jeff
South
is the
Park.
only person who would pick this one.
Yeah, because I
Which
like
is
so
okay.
bad it's good movies, and I like so
Yeah.
bad it's good games.
I feel you. Mario Party was. I don't care how old you are. I don't
I put
care
a
what.
specific on there.
I'm not
Jeff
allowed to
said
play
you-
that with my family anymore.
I thought Mario Party was like it that you know that
It's the
TikTok
most
was like this
infuriating thing.
this
ever.
mother effer don't miss. You know that like
Yeah.
that's how I feel about Mario
Someone
Party.
would
Like,
get on a hot luck streak and just trash you, and you'd be like, "You're not even good.
Yeah.
You don't even play video games, Mom. I hate you so much. I'm never gonna eat your dinner again. You're
game
trash."
was- and there were just so many but like some of the games were like they were so much fun to play with other
Yeah.
people, like even the dumbest ones. It was
So
if you were an
goofy, so
adult and you were
The
enjoying
fire
adult
jump
beverages
thing,
and playing,
like the
it
fire
could be
jump rope.
very very fun.
Yeah.
I mean, even like the knockout game where you were in
Right.
bumper cars, or like the game
Or
where
on
you
the
were
top
like
of the mountain with the balls, and you're like running around on
yes,
top
or
of
the
the
one
ball.
where you
Yeah.
had like you had sacks and like over your shoulder and you were like stuffing thing in it, but then you could steal the mushrooms out of them.
Yeah.
Like that game was so much
Alright,
fun. It was
Jeff, who
stupid
did
fun.
you play at Mario Party?
Who like what character was
Yeah. Yeah.
I? Probably mostly Mario. I mean, I would just cop it out. It'd probably mostly be Mario or Yoshi if I could.
Paul, what about you?
I was not tied to any character. I was fine being Peach or Yoshi
Yeah.
or anybody else. I don't care.
So I played
Unless
Yoshi.
it's Mario Kart, then I'm always Yoshi.
I played Yoshi until
Wario.
Waluigi.
Or Waluigi.
I love
That was
it.
in the later ones, and like
Yeah,
the original
Mario
Mario
Party
Wars, he wasn't in there.
4, I think.
Or I think yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wario
But-
was in
but,
later. I
like,
played
so-
Wario a bit.
So I would annoy my mom and my sisters, because if you
You're
hit
like,
the well, if you kept hitting it like for his laughter, it was like wah 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 wah.
Oh, it was so annoying. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Chaz has Counter Strike
Oh,
just
I've
in
made a
general.
grave
I
mistake.
don't think that actually falls into multiplayer. Like I totally get what you're saying.
All right, can I explain myself?
That so
I made a
also
grave error, you guys. I apologize.
If
yeah,
I
I'm gonna
explain
address it in a second.
myself, you will actually like it.
No,
Counter-Strike?
I like Counter Strike. I'm taking all of those games. That includes Unreal Tournament, Quake, like all of
Sure.
those like tournament type games. I'm
Yep.
taking all of those out of multiplayer for probably no reason except for my own mental, and also they come up like
Okay,
100
yeah.
times later.
But
Yeah,
the only
but-
reason why I have Counter Strike in best multiplayer game is because they're the very first game to actually have a 5v5 that actually worked online.
But
Oh, nice.
but Unreal Tournament had Capture the Flag first.
But Capture the Flag was super buggy. That's the main thing. It was super buggy.
What about Quake?
Quake? Like you had
Way
to play,
before.
you had to play Quake on LAN. Like
Yeah, 100%. But it was
Yeah.
amazing.
But-
I think that makes it more of a traditional multiplayer game because of it.
but
I
the,
thought Quake
but the
was.
thing was though, Counter Strike cemented, and this is
Yeah.
what
No,
every
you're-
yeah. That's the
all
only
other
reason-
games followed it. 100%.
That's the only
Yeah.
reason why I had it in there, because they had the very first working net
I'll allow it.
for 5v5.
I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Hey,
Freaking blast. So
Tony. Okay, go ahead.
no, we're gonna get to that. So I added Super Smash Bros. Because local multiplayer on N64 was a freaking blast. Because
is-
the same family members that would trash you on Mario Party because they got an unfair luck streak, you would destroy them. You would throw freaking Charizard at them, and they'd get shot off the peak, and you'd be like, "Bye, nerd."
So
You'd
that
get like
game,
the laser gun, just pew 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 pew, or the lightsaber. Like, come on, dude.
You know how you know that Super Smash Brothers, and it doesn't matter which one you're talking about, the entire franchise is all equivalent because they're all incredible and they all are just as good on their own or with better graphics or whatever.
Yep.
The way you know a great video game, like a great, and like the way you know the best multiplayer game is the number of remote controllers that were broken while playing said video game. I can tell you right now, I have either watched or been a party to at minimum 10 remotes being broken. I remember one of my best friends in college we were in college. We were sophomores in college. He broke 3 Xbox controllers in like a month because I would just not let him win, and I would just pick Link every time, and I would just say beat me. And he literally he played every character, and I don't know if you ever beat me. I'm
Bros is not on Xbox.
Or no, not wait, was it X?
Nope. It's a
GameCube
Nintendo.
is probably what you were thinking.
Nintendo, for sure. Dude, and legit, never gonna happen. And my brother will destroy me as Link. And I think the only person
I'm not good at it.
The only person I think I could beat him with
Kirby
is either Samus or Kirby. It's the only way I could beat him.
All right.
Samus was great. Kirby was probably my favorite.
So actually thinking about this more, so Mario Party, their new game, is bringing back all the older like
maps,
mini games that you can play as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
The
it's
one
gonna
that's
be
coming out this year.
and it's going to be online multiplayer as well.
Well, Nintendo needs to keep upgrading.
I want no part of that.
Just so everyone
I don't want
knows.
that smoke already.
Yeah.
I
Just
love
so everyone knows.
And I loved like the in-person multiplayer because it never ended. Like best 2 out of 3, best 45 out of 53. Like it
Yelling
just
at
like
your
never
sisters or brothers.
it never ended.
Oh shoot! I don't know how many you won. Bad.
You're sitting in front
ended.
of them and you stand up like, oh, now you can't see.
20, we used to do
screen watching.
No, we did the 2 TVs. Like you would take one TV extension cord into the other room with a door, and you would play a part for GoldenEye because it was that level of like bring it on. Like
we did the blanket technique where you tape the blanket to the TV.
It never worked. It was.
Oh my God! All right, so I want to hit these last 3 here. So Burnout Paradise in crash mode is a blast. You just take turns because if you guys haven't played Burnout Paradise, when you do crash mode, you try to wreck the car and the whole world around it as much as you possibly can. It's surprisingly amazing and a ton of fun. Tony Hawk, I put on here. Go ahead.
So going off of that, and it also leads into Tony Hawk Skate 3.
Never played Skate series.
Most disastrous injury. So like you'll jump off of a ramp, and you just,
like ragdoll effect.
However, like you just need to hurt yourself the most.
I did that in GTA though. It was like a made up.
But no, it would show like all your bones breaking and all that.
Yeah,
no, that's cool. Yeah, it's like Mortal Kombat.
All right, explain Tony Hawk.
So Tony Hawk is an amazing multiplayer game because of course you can do versus, which is just point scale, but you could also do graffiti. And if you guys haven't played graffiti mode on Tony Hawk, it is equivalent to me in terms of fights that have occurred around a console to Smash Bros and Mario Party. And it's because like if you do a trick on a piece of the landscape, then you get that piece, and there's like red versus blue. So you start painting the town, and it's like whoever has the most pieces acquired. So it could be a ledge. It's part of a rail. It's like a quarter pipe.
It's like Splatoon, just requires skill.
Yeah, and your goal is to get as many pieces as possible and beat the other player. But then you could steal pieces from the other player too. So you could just literally ride behind
follow them. Like, but the problem was the tactic that sucked was when you were clearly like even like 20% not as good as the other player, you had no chance.
Oh yeah,
like,
I slaughtered people at times.
Yeah, you had no chance because anyone that could consistently do a McTwist like would destroy you. Like you had no chance.
Well,
if you could do a McTwist easily, no chance.
Because if they didn't know how to manual, it would screw them over completely.
Once they linked the manuals, you could link every trick in the game, and then after that, it just got better and better.
No, and the worst part was like you thought you were ahead. You're like, oh, I'm winning, and then like as soon as they actually landed a trick, which could be like a 2-minute exercise,
500,000 points.
All of a sudden, you would just be like, and I never even played. Like I was never playing. Twisted
which
Metal
is
came
why
up
it
again.
resulted in fights.
We already talked about Twisted Metal, so we're not bringing that one up again. All right.
Twisted Metal is so fun multiplayer.
All right. This one, I want to skip this one because we're not going to do this one justice. I have best story. Fair. We're not even anywhere near the realm.
Let us know in the comments below your favorite story, like story mode or just long-term story. Which my second one?
Yes.
God of War.
You weren't supposed to say it.
It doesn't matter.
It was supposed to be a
They know it now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It comes up later.
Yeah, it does come up later. Oh, it does come up big time.
God of War.
Big time. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right. So I'm not going to cover that one.
Let us know in the comments your favorite story from a video game.
Go. Yes, and we'll do, if we do another episode, if we get comments and people enjoy this, I will bring this one back. All right. Biggest surprise, like positive surprise or negative, I guess, from a game after you bought it and you didn't know what you were getting and you found out what you're getting and you either like shocked one way or the other.
Yep.
Mine. Dark Souls. I had no idea what I was buying. I didn't know what I was getting into, and it became a top 10er. That's like a top 10 game series.
That's where I broke all my controllers at.
You can't know, and it's
super hard.
That game is stupid fun. It is soul crushing, but it's so much fun. Far Cry. I
was surprised by that too.
I bought one of them, and then I ended up pre-ordering all of them. Yes, and I ended up. It was after the fact. I played the first one, not knowing what I was doing. Got totally sucked in, got 2 and 3, and then when the latest one for the PlayStation came out, I think it was PlayStation.
Yeah.
I had to pre-order it. I was like, I can't not have this game. It was
one.
Story was really good. It was open world.
You're like in Australia, and you got like the freaking bow and arrow and like all these different weapons, and like the characters are great. And
2 and 3 were
open,
amazing.
So much fun. And then, oh dude, this would end up on my underrated list and shut up Saints Row. Oh my!
I never played it.
It reminded me. It's an adult version of GTA.
100%.
Which is already like as close to adult as.
But it went like wicked fun. Like everything, it went like adult whimsical.
Have you seen Saints Row 3, where like now you have like superpowers?
Superpowers. That was the most fun one. With the dildo. Giant, it was.
I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
It's too late. I don't care. It doesn't matter. That game was just insanely fun. Like it's insanely fun. You could be.
Saints Row 4 though was complete garbage.
Oh really? I only played till 3, but
3 was the best.
But they looked amazing.
3 was the best. 4 was worse than 1. 4 was worse than 1.
Yeah.
And 1 was good.
Stunned at what I ended up with.
Fair. So. The next 2 I put on here, and I'll tell you why they're surprising. So God of War 4, which is the Norse mythology one for PlayStation 4. Where I started? No, that's not where I started.
So you had already played God of War 1 through 3.
Yeah, I played the crap out of God of War.
And it still ended up in surprise.
I was surprised by God of War 4. Here's why: they broke the franchise. They just it changed like crazy. It was a totally. It was I love that game though. It's totally different. I thought the story was amazing, and they're setting it up for a sequel, and the story's going to continue on.
To me,
it made.
I'm with Jeff and his opinion of it, because I remember when Assassin's Creed added like the boats, and
Black Flag. Assassin's Creed 3 they had boats.
Black Flag they were like, everyone loves this. We really did something good, and that was the best one.
Yeah.
That was the best one of the franchise.
Assassin's Creed 2. Nope. I will die on that hill. I will die on that hill.
God of War 4 was different just because God of War 1, 2, and 3 were very linear. And this one was like open world. It was Norse mythology, which was really fun and enjoyable. There was like, the map was huge, and there was all these like different treasures you would have to like find, and like you'd battle mini bosses on all these islands and stuff. And it was super fun. And like your main method around was a
tell me more about Mario Odyssey.
Well, wait. So my main issue with God of War 4 was it did not follow the actual Norse mythology at all. And that's why I was upset with it, and that's why I said it didn't make sense.
I mean, it's the same with artistic
it's the same with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. F that game.
Trash.
All right.
Tell me more about.
So Odyssey was a surprise because it's one
Mario
of those
Odyssey.
It's Mario Odyssey. It was one of those console launch games. Comes with the Switch, or you automatically got it when you got a Switch. So it's like, okay, everybody has this game. What's gonna be so good and different about it? You already loved previous Mario games, so I enjoyed like Mario Galaxies, the Sunshine. I loved, Mario 64, obviously. So I was like, what's going to be different or better? And just like, everybody loves Mario 64. They'll kind of like say that's like their best favorite one, right? It's like it was that, which with HD graphics and the controls worked the way you wanted to, and the camera was perfect. So it surprised me in that it was like taking Mario 64, this beloved game, and leveling it up times 1,000. It Spinal Tapped it to 11, and I was like,
pooping on it.
I was like, what? They made this amazing because Mario's missed a few times. Like Super Mario Bros. Deluxe U is a complete garbage game. It's super boring and lame. Some of their side scrollers suck. You're gonna say that? Wow. See, so I thought I was going out on a limb, but yeah. So Mario Odyssey for me, it was an 11 out of 10, and I didn't see it being amazing.
No on Cuphead 2.
Cuphead. I've never played the original Cuphead, but I love Cuphead 2.
It surprised you because you were like, what is the art style and everything is just so crazy different. Yeah. I mean, I'm with that. It's like a totally different game.
And it's also really good too.
Be?
But I
don't
think
it's an indie game where you're like, this can't be good.
So this is like saying like the 7-Up game for Sega was like a surprise. Like I'm not just we're going too far. We've gone too far.
So let's jump to the next category.
We're only gonna do. I think we're only gonna make it. We're gonna try and make it through Switch. So we're gonna blast through the next one. So I have these now, like good or great titles like that were specific or mostly specific to Xbox,
main
PlayStation,
consoles.
or Switch. Like the main consoles. We have a lot more that I want to get through. We're just not going to. So, and I know that we're not going to do Xbox justice. I'm going to say that right now. We are not going to do Xbox or PlayStation justice. So we're gonna start with Xbox though. I had on here Splinter Cell, which I think was also on PlayStation, but I picked one or the other. So like you either get it or you don't. Like it won't come up in PlayStation. So Splinter Cell, and I love that. Halo, I think it's legendary. I'm giving Xbox Skyrim
because they just bought the just bought Bethesda. So
they own Bethesda now, which Bethesda makes like half my favorite games.
Skyrim is overrated. Oblivion is a lot better, in my personal opinion. I come from PC. I come from PC. Oblivion's a crap ton better.
I'm just gonna let Chaz go on his rampage, and we'll let the comments take over.
The mods for Oblivion are so much better.
Skyrim was great. Skyrim's good.
Yes. But
we're leaving that alone, and we're not saying anything else.
It's overrated.
And then I have on here, which I think is obvious, but probably no one would ever say, is Rock Band.
Yeah, dude.
Rock Band was and is like
you get more songs.
It has so much real estate in my
DLC,
memories, dude. Like
the defunct DLC at this point, because they killed their shop and all that stuff. They've done like 3 overhauls. I had so much DLC, which I still have on my PlayStation 3. I looked it up.
You have to define it for everybody. There's not everyone.
Downloadable content is DLC, and Rock Band took the music genre, if you guys can remember the music genre of games, which is like
Guitar Hero,
blew up, completely died. Tried to make a revival, did not. But
the concept of it was like they took all the best parts about what made Nintendo Wii so great and condensed it into one singular title based around somehow music. It was like
because Jeff and I doing the same thing before Rock Band.
It has a place. It has a place on here. We'll talk about it. It's different though.
Rock Band totally different.
They just added 2 other players. That's it.
Nope.
I'm ready to fight you. So
you
Jeff
had your own band in a dorm room. It was amazing.
Jeff and I.
So 2 other players.
One of the reasons that this whole thing exists and that Jeff and I are friends is actually like how we met and like cemented our friendship was we were in college and Jeff lived a floor above me and we along with some other friends who are now like were in my wedding. We used to like before we would like go out to party or whatever, we would party in our room and play Rock Band, and like I would always sing, Jeff would always play drums, and then I don't even remember what Cooch did except mix drinks. Like and we did that for like 3 hours from like 5 or 6 o'clock till like 10:30, 11, and like then it was time to like go and like do things outside. So and we did that for like 2 years. Year and a half,
Yeah.
2 years. I mean, and it was
freaking blast.
like once a week.
So I played
Yeah.
Rock Band. To me, it just felt like a local multiplayer version of Guitar Hero.
It's just not though.
I hear what
Alright,
you're
so-
saying. I hear what you're saying, and we're moving
It's okay
on.
to be wrong.
What did we
We're
miss?
moving
What did
on.
we miss? What did we miss on Xbox that was big? Did we miss anything gigantic?
Gears of War
I'm no
was
help
a really
here.
good franchise for the first two.
Gears of War.
So Gears of War is on the
Okay.
list of games that I never played that I recognize are good. That's on that
Sure.
list.
Okay.
Sure.
I don't know what I'm missing. I'm sure I'm missing some stuff that was
can't
exclusive to
think of-
Xbox. Though,
Flight Simulator.
was Fallout exclusive to Xbox?
No.
I didn't think so either. I had Fallout. Well, I didn't put it on here because I put or not Fallout. Fable was Fable exclusive to Xbox.
Yes.
Nope. Oh, it's
Fable.
PC.
No.
I had
Well,
it.
but
It-
consoles.
Yes,
I think it was
console-wise,
Xbox only.
Yes.
It was
Fable 1
Microsoft.
and 2 were great. Fable 3 was
100%. I'm with you. But Fable is a phenomenal game that I think is very highly rated, but may even still be underrated. I love
Yes.
that game series.
Fable 3 was
I'm sure-
garbage, though.
I'm sure we're missing stuff. Please let us know. I'm glad we're moving through that quickly. PlayStation franchises. I gave it GTA. I know that you can give it whatever
Yeah.
you want. They just ended up in the PlayStation because I always think of them as owning it because GTA to me, the first one on PlayStation,
Right.
cemented it like it's always in my brain's PlayStation. So that's why they
Yep.
got it.
So
All of them, I think Vice City was the most enjoyable of just fun, and I think 4 and
So fun.
5 were the best ones, and I think 5 probably
Five-
beats 4
5
by
had the
this
best
much.
story because you can change everything.
But the reality nature and the story of 4 were amazing, and they added so much cool stuff like that you could like drink and like you could go to the bars and like the character was so wildly vastly different than everything else, and the graphics on it were insane. Like driving through the cities was like so much fun. That was a
cool.
great game.
Like, I remember
Yeah.
playing the original Grand Theft Auto where it's just like an overhead view.
Top view. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
But, like,
weird. So weird to
so-
play, but I played those two and beat them.
What was the GTA 3 was the one
so
where
the original Liberty City scene where you were the no name, no talking
Matt,
guy. I played that on mobile, dude. I had it on my
Yes!
iPhone.
you were either I think you're either in that or the Vice City. To me, Vice City was like all of those things with more fun. But I told like if someone came to me and was like it's GTA 3, I'd be like fine. If someone came to me and was like it's
San Andreas.
yeah, someone was like San
A lot of
Andreas,
people
like,
say
you
San
can have
Andreas,
it. I'm like
do
you can
more
have it.
things.
So-
Yeah, you can have it, and they fly and like swim and like all that.
Yeah,
like,
you couldn't
it's yours.
swim
you
in
can
Vice
have
City.
It. No,
You would just drown.
Yeah.
So
And
to
you could
me,
take boats out, which was the crazy thing. So you got on your boat, you get in an accident, you're like, well, dead.
wasted.
So to me, GTA, another one that's on Paul's list for PlayStation, which we'll
Mhm.
get into here in a second, and Skyrim, all belong under PC because the mods that are for them are super insane, and
That's
they
fine.
make the game.
Explains to the people what a mod is.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so a mod is when someone takes a game code, add other things into that said game code to
Mhm.
give you either more story progression,
Like a patch,
yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
like an
done-
add-on,
upgrade your
like a
game.
DLC.
Yes.
But you make it. They make it on
Yes.
their own, and that's why
and,
like Call of
and
Duty.
you can choose what you want and what you don't want.
There's
Right.
so much. Yeah, it goes on
A
forever.
lot to unpack there, but we're
so-
talking just original.
I'm just
games.
talking, and I'm still sticking to console. So for console, I probably played Skyrim for like 6 billion years. I love that game. Red Dead
You're so
Redemption.
old. I
Red
got
Dead
it.
Redemption 1 and 2. They took cowboys and just made them like unbelievably fun,
And you can
and the
go fishing.
storyline is sick, and the hunting, everything is so
They
good.
reimagined John Wayne.
It's amazing. Assassin's Creed is like in a category of its own for me.
I
know
wouldn't
Charles,
have it under
you think
PlayStation. I would have it because the only difference between PlayStation and Xbox was you got a new robe color.
you can put it wherever you want. I don't care which one it
Sure.
goes under. It's just it
Great
had to
game.
go under one. I put it there because that's where I played it on. There
Yeah.
are some big misses in those titles, like the Egyptian one was trash. Like there's some big, but
Assassin's Creed 3 was super buggy.
so trash. But like the one where you're like in like the early American wars, and you're like sort of like one
That's
of the a
Assassin's
dude.
Creed 3. That was the one I hated the most.
Oh, really?
So I love that one, but I thought the best one
That and
was,
Unity.
and I know Unity. Yeah, I totally agree because they tried to go a little too far into like the.
They were trying to have a four-person, like a
and
single
they
player
add the multiplayer. They add all. But Charles, I know you're obviously a big fan of 2. I think anyone could argue whatever they want. I thought Black Flag was the most fun and
Yes.
the one that I played the most number of times.
Two had the best controls, but Black Flag had the best of like story.
Fair, totally fair.
And that's why I loved 2 so much, was because the controls were like, it felt right when you moved, and the story was great.
And it wasn't too much either, because they like hadn't blown everything out.
Yes.
Yeah.
My only issue with Black Flag was the controls were still glitchy, because so when Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, they made the controller switch, if I remember correctly. Assassin's Creed 3, but they rushed that out, so the game itself was insanely buggy. Then Black Flag, but they were still harnessing how the controls worked. So, like, it was super buggy when you did certain control movements. But
I just love the maps, concept, the story, the ships. Like, it was just it was butter.
Yeah. Definitely a cool series.
Matt Hoffman's. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say the only thing I did not like about Black Flag was the controls, and that's it.
Fair. I have Matt Hoffman's BMX for PlayStation 2, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I played the ever-living tar out of that game, and I got it way late. I love the music. I love the gameplay. There's not a lot of like great biking games out there like BMX bike, and that one, to me, banged. I love it, because it was a nice balance of like fun, but also some realism. I love that game.
Yeah. Dave Mira's BMX 2 was probably the one I played more.
Traditionally considered the best one.
Yeah, which was pretty fantastic. And then BMX Triple X was just a crazy time.
Yeah.
In the action sports genre, though, I'm definitely more privy to Tony Hawk, and
100%.
specifically Tony Hawk
Pro Skater 2.
Yes.
1 and 2.
So THPS 2, pretty fantastic. Probably one of my favorite of the original 2.
Blue cartridge or die.
Yeah. 1 and 2 were amazing. 2 is definitely the better of the 2 of them. And then Thug, Tony Hawk's Underground, 1 and 2. It was fantastic. This is where they introduced like cavemanning. So you could get off the skateboard and you could run around everywhere. And yeah, you look so weird when you're running. And then you could like climb on stuff. It was just, dude, it was a great blast. Game. I played Thug 1 and 2 like a billion times.
Then you have American Wasteland, which was complete garbage.
American Wasteland was a buggy piece of garbage. And
things happen.
It wanted to be cool, but it wasn't.
Jeff added God of War. I can't even speak to it, so I'm glad you added it. A lot of people, my brothers will absolutely die on this one for sure.
The story so fun, the gameplay so fun. Kratos, the character, so badass. Like,
I don't even
character.
It's all over my head. Uncharted, Ready to Fight. I did not like those games. They were too easy.
Didn't like those games.
I played every single one of them, and
I only said to Jeff to add it because it is an actual PlayStation exclusive franchise game.
Yeah, and I think it's a no-brainer when you're talking about good PlayStation games. So it has a good story, freaking Indiana Jones, and it takes what a lot of the Tomb Raider games like were supposed to do, and I thought it did it better. Specifically like the boat scenes, the jet ski stuff. There's a lot of getaway scenes. Here's the reason you think it's too easy. You need to play it on a harder difficulty, but also it's because it's like a movie. It's designed to be.
That's why I'm like.
And they're making a movie with Tom Holland.
I'm very. It's like I get why people like it, I guess, but to me, like it's on such a much. To me, it was on such a much lower level than like other puzzle games that I was like.
It's pretty darn linear. There were puzzles in it.
That's another game that always comes out when PlayStation releases a new console.
No, that's the one that they own that 100 entirely, and you get it with console. So.
But on that note. That game is made by Naughty Dog, who also made some fantastic games like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot. And those live on.
Made by Activision Blizzard. Well, at the time,
I think it got acquired by Activision. Didn't those all come out like the same time? Same kind of.
No,
well, anyways,
Spyro
Crash
was originally
Bandicoot,
made
Naughty
by
Dog.
Activision.
Okay, so Spyro's still a blast. So Spyro, Activision can relate to Tony Hawk, Activision. But yeah, both games, fantastic, fun console games, good adventure games, just enjoyable.
Favorite Spyro?
Favorite Spyro? Probably the second one, too.
Year of the Dragon, I think, is what it was?
I think so. I think it had the best story, best characters, a lot of fun. And then after that, the games got real weird, and I didn't like them anymore.
Well, they only made 3 on PS1, and those
Yeah,
are
I
the
think
3
they.
I played.
Yeah. I don't know what 4 is all about, or like he's in some other stuff. There's a lot of crossovers. Anyways, 1 and 2 are the only ones real to me, and number 2 was better.
Crash Bandicoot's great. We already talked about Tony Hawk.
Yep.
Resident Evil 1,
This
2,
is
and
on
4
your list later for something else.
specifically. Yep, this is on another list for me, so I'm not going to say anything. And then Guitar Hero 2.
Specifically 2. And this is where, Chaz, you're going down because Guitar Hero and Rock Band are not even close to the same thing or on the same planet. Guitar Hero was only about guitar, first of all. Second of all, it was played like totally different. Like the way you played Rock Band versus the way you played Guitar Hero was just different. It was like 5 keys, that's it. And they were definitely difficult. And they invented like the hammer-on pull-offs, which was like where you roll over the frets on the fake guitar. The whammy bar that nobody ever used because it was completely pointless. I broke all of mine, or they broke instantly. They're dumb. But star power, like all that stuff. Like I'm not saying they didn't like really grow the music genre there, but Rock Band took it to a whole different planet. They went off planet. When you add drums, which is like
it was
it's a multiplayer version of Guitar
You're
Hero.
wrong because it's not guitars.
Whoa,
you got to sing.
Multiplayer. You're not gonna have
I see
3 players playing guitars in a single band.
And Guitar Hero tried to do Rock Band, and they did a terrible job, and they were all trash.
Chaz makes a great point that all you did was add other things. So, but what I will say is, as I know that Jeff is into the minutia of both games, I'm awarding him bonus points. Chaz, you're not wrong though. Like
Here's what you need to understand.
The biggest difference is the fact, like to me, the biggest difference between the two is the fact that, Jeff, to your point, playing drums to someone like Chaz who maybe didn't play Rock Band literally for months of their life in total hours. All you're actually doing is just adding another way to play guitar. So I feel what you're saying. But as somebody who plays that game a ton, I would have to agree they're not the same game. But
and I'm coming from a standpoint, Chaz, I want you to understand, of like a insane amount of love for Guitar Hero 2. One of my favorite games that I've ever played of all time. Like when the first time I beat Freebird, I literally like wept man tears. I was like, I did it.
Yeah.
I'm a rock star. And then I looked at my plastic guitar and I was like, oh no, I'm not.
So I played Rock Band a little bit, not as much as you two. And to me, it felt like a DLC with added instruments.
I feel you. I see what you're saying.
Done with this conversation. Let's carry on to Switch.
And I know that we missed
a lot.
We didn't even say the words Final Fantasy, so I know like a lot of people are totally discounting everything that we're saying.
Not my style. Wasn't.
Yeah, those games are not like Kingdom of Hearts, Final Fantasy. They're not even. They're not even on my radar. They are epics. They are phenomenal. There's a lot of stuff that we didn't cover. You could do a whole one on PlayStation. You could do 2 or 3 on PlayStation alone. We understand this. These are just some of our favorites. Hit us with the comments if we missed any that you think we should be fired from our jobs for, and we will take that one right to the dome. And we will
fire ourselves. All right.
I will fire myself. We're going to hit Switch. Can we do Switch in 15 minutes?
We can do Switch quick because I'm the only one that does it. So this is my realm. People, welcome to the Switch Zone. For me, my favorite console of all time. I said that at the beginning. And these are some of my favorite games that you should definitely check out. I'll give you a very brief synopsis of why. Zelda Breath of the Wild. I don't think I need to explain that one. Watch any videos online.
10 out of 10.
It's one of the best games of all time. Period. On any console, over PC games too. Best game of all time. Mario Odyssey. Fantastic. Blew me away. I mentioned in the surprise section. The controls are near perfect. It's super enjoyable. It's approachable on any level, and you can do some insane tricks in it. The speed runs of those, by the way, my favorite speed runs to watch. Mario Odyssey. Mario 3D All-Stars lets you play Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine and Super Mario Galaxy, the first one, which was the better one. Fantastic. Tons of fun, and it's like a normal price game, but you get 3 games, nostalgia overload, worth a shot. Phoenix Rising is like, I said I only did that with Breath of the Wild. I was wrong. This is the other game in that sort of category, the massive world type game, role-playing game, right, that you can play, that I thought was a blast. It was something I didn't expect to be any good. I ended up watching some videos online, and I was like, I'll try it, and like it just sucks you in. It's like Greek mythology kind of meets Zelda Breath of the Wild, and you can do a lot of similar things. Like you can fly and glide and all that stuff. You get like, you acquire Icarus's wings, and you can like fly around the entire place, and it's super fun. So total blast, good game, enjoyable. Tons of DLC for that too, so you can download all new stories and games for not much more. Mario Maker 2 replay value is infinite. because people make levels. You can make levels. Like, you can build Mario levels. It's every kid's dream to build a Mario level. So you get to do that. And Mario Maker 2 took like what Mario Maker 1 did on the Wii U, which was a trash console and is not on our list anywhere because it's garbage, but took it to the next level. Completely insane. Super fun game to watch. I've mentioned this on podcast before. I watch people play Mario Maker 2. I don't know why. It's just so fun. It's so fun. And it's a good getaway, I guess, when I'm like eating lunch between calls or something. So
I thought the Wii U was just like an upgraded version of the Wii. Just like how you had the Xbox
I thought it was supposed
360,
to be 2.
Then you had the Xbox 360 Elite. So I never really paid attention to that at all.
It was their worst selling console of all time for Nintendo. So Hollow Knight, it does not necessarily belong on Switch. I know that. I understand it's mostly a PC game. We're not getting to PC. I experienced it on the Switch, and it was one. I should put it under surprises. Like this indie game for $15. That was so freaking fun. I got sucked into the lore. There's so much lore. It's such an expansive world. It's all underground, and it's like about bugs, and you have like a little needle sword, and you just fight gigantic monsters. And it's super hard, but really rewarding and a ton of fun. Ukulele's on this list because it was made by like that defunct post Rare company that I was talking about earlier. So it's the same guys that made Banjo-Kazooie. I got it because I thought it'd be like Banjo-Kazooie. It's not. Super fun game though. Not as good to me as Banjo-Kazooie, but it's still like a HD approach to that. It's pretty funny, and it's family friendly too if you want to like have your kids play it or whatever. But it was enjoyable. It was fun. Mario Kart 8. Carry on. Celeste. Celeste is another fun indie game that you should play. It's super hard but super rewarding. It's in like this retro style. It's a blast. And then A Hat in Time I put on here is a really buggy game. But I had a great time with it. It was a lot of fun. It had some similar mechanics to Mario Odyssey, and a whole like really cool storyline that was super enjoyable. And you played like this cute little kid, and it was just fun, man. It was enjoyable. You got to watch some videos to like see what it's about to get it, but it was pretty buggy. That was the only downside. I think that's because it's a port from another console. Yes. So I think it came from PlayStation or Xbox maybe first, and the port was pretty buggy, but I don't know. It was good. You guys should check out those titles. And I haven't hit everything, of course.
No, we're not doing Switch justice. I know. So both my brothers live and die on Switch. I know that they have played everything from like the latest Super Smash Bros. All the way up to every single Zelda title. And they both will tell me that I've missed out on like a whole generation of video games, and so I believe them. But
A Link to the Past remake, also a fantastic.
Dude, I just don't have game. I don't have time, and it comes down to the fact that like I chose reading over video games. So like the amount of time that most people like have chosen to like play video games, I have decided that it's a lot easier for me to read for like 45 minutes and stay engaged, and I get these like little snatches of time. So I just read a lot, and that's why I actually haven't played video games, because like I end up reading.
Last favorite book that you read?
I only read business books now. I don't read any fiction books. Yeah.
Oh my
I've not read a fiction book on purpose in decades.
So hold on, I'm gonna pull it up because I can't actually remember the name of the series. So I use the Kindle app on my phone, and I have I probably have well over 300 books that are in here. The last series that I read, let me pop in my library, was Brandon Anderson's The Way of Kings. They're monstrous books. There's 4 of them, or 3 of them. I think there's 3 or 4 of them, and they were. I found myself staying up to like 1, 2 in the morning, because I just couldn't stop. They were unbelievable, so good, and just epics.
All right.
So good.
After we finish the show, I'm gonna give you a really good book recommendation.
All right. Book club. It takes place after the show when we drink our tea and go to bed. You guys. All right. So here's what we're gonna do. Let's wrap the show.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, but I was gonna do this. Hear me out. Lightning round games you never understood, just to make everybody mad before we close the show.
That's what I was gonna do. So here's what we haven't covered that's on the list that we could cover for another one. So tell us in the comments if you would like to see another one of these. We never even touched Game Boy. We never touched big consoles like arcade. We didn't even touch N64. We didn't touch Sega. We didn't touch Wii. We didn't touch PC. We didn't hit games you never played, and we never hit games you never understood. We never hit even probably half of PlayStation, Xbox, if I'm being fair. And we never touched story games, which didn't even touch my favorite game of all time, which is Last of Us. So we missed Final Fantasy. We never hit any of those like turn-based games. We never hit Kingdom of Hearts, which is probably one of the. I mean, you talk about like niche console games, never even scratched it. So we understand that we have not scratched the surface of this one, but we are dorks and we enjoy all of these things, and we're getting heated over Guitar Hero. So that's where we ended up. I do agree with Jeff. We're gonna do a relative lightning round before we go, which is, are we doing games you never played or ones
you never understood?
All right, we're going games you never understood. Games you never understood. So like, there's a lot of stuff we didn't touch. There's a reason why we didn't hit it. Is because like they just never hit the funny bone, right? So like we never played them. I made my list and it's kind of long.
And I extended your list.
And Jeff extended it. So we'll take turns. How about that, Jeff?
Yep. Go for it.
I'll go first. I already talked about. Oh, Charles, do you want to get in there?
No,
Charles, you can go. Charles, you go first. Go first.
No, actually, I'll just make comments on what you guys are saying because I played most of the games that you guys are talking about.
So I will go first, and it's not that these games are bad. They just like they're not my brand, or I just like didn't have the time to donate to them because they were like taken up by Assassin's Creed or something.
Yep.
My first one is the entire monster. Oh God, there's another one. Final Fantasy.
Were you gonna say Monster Hunter because you said, "Oh, that's another"?
I wanted to say Monster Hunter. I always wanted to play the game. I never did, so that would be another one.
Monster Hunter 2 is really good.
I've never played that either.
What's the dream game? It's like one of the. I'm gonna think of it. It's probably it's equivalent to Final Fantasy in its size and scope, and also like notoriety. And I never played it. It started with PS1. And went all the way up through like the current. It's a monster franchise. I'll think of it while you were going.
I agree with Final Fantasy. Never got it. Wasn't into turn-based fight sequences. So my first
Final Fantasy to me was really
Devil
good.
May Cry.
Oh,
Devil May Cry is really the first. Two,
I understand that though. I love that.
Like 2 or 3 are really good. The other ones are complete garbage.
It got real weird. I only played through 3.
But like it's widely known as one of the best franchises in PlayStation history, and I mean, and I just never even touched it. So that's another one.
And no, that's Diablo. That's owned by Activision. Diablo 1 and 2 are really good.
I love Diablo. I love everything about Diablo. I have it on PC. That's how much I love Diablo.
Did you play the?
I played it for console. Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. Did you play the mobile version of Diablo?
No, I didn't have time for that.
Yeah,
no way, Jose.
You have to pay
I'm glad
to
I didn't.
actually get good.
All right, so we kind of covered this earlier, but I said all racing and sports games, like every single one.
I have Gran Turismo on here. I have Madden, NBA 2K, NHL. I totally respect that people love it. They're awesome games. I'm not saying they're not good. I played actual sports. I love actual sports. I cannot relate.
We're not saying they don't play actual sports either.
I can't relate to games. I cannot relate to the games. I just can't. I've played all of them.
Racing, like I like the Forza and the early Need for Speeds.
Need for Speed is not really
Mario Kart 64, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff. I just can't do it. I tried. I bought Gran Turismo when it was expensive, when they were $50 games, like back in the day when they were first released.
You should see the games nowadays when it comes to the
$60 to $100.
No. But at the time, 50 at the time, $50 for a console game was unheard of. It was insanely expensive, and I paid the prepaid price because like I thought I was gonna like it so much because I love cars. I'm a car nerd. I hated that game. I hated every second that I wasted on it buying flywheels and like new clutches. Like I hated that game. So I know that it's great. I just never could do it.
Yep. Fair enough.
Did you see that one guy? It's on the racing game topic. So he was like one of the best like Formula One like online racers. Then he ended up beating one of the best Formula One racers in an actual Formula One race.
Oh, shut up.
Wow. Well, anyways.
I didn't mean actually shut up. I meant like, that's crazy. Shut up. Sorry.
Yeah, you just told Josh to shut up.
It came out real bad.
Because every single time he played, like he always did the steering column and all that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He ended up beating one of the very best like Formula won races.
That is absolutely bonkers.
Yo, good for that dude. All right, so here was my solution for this category is I put entire categories or genres.
Yeah, 100%.
So all racing and sports games, and then MMORPGs. I never got into WoW, and I never got into any of those things. I
put
knew
that
they
on.
required hours and hours and hours that I wasn't willing to give, and that's why I don't get it.
I played RuneScape and World of Warcraft as a kid.
Yeah.
Mainly because I broke a lot of stuff, so
you're
very
sitting
badly.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to go to school for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So
Like WoW,
it was just
like
something to do.
if you play WoW, you either play every single game that's ever made and you donate your entire life to it, or like you can only play WoW because it takes so much time. So I see what Jeff's saying, because like Diablo almost got to that level for me and I got out of it. But like those games are, I would totally agree with you on that one. You're either kind of in or you're out. Online shooters, are you talking like Call of Duty or like what are we talking about? Like
all of them. So all those tournament ones you were talking about, whether it's like land-based or online,
Call
like
of Duty, I can understand because you have to pay $60 every single year.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also talking about like Fortnite, like
not even on the list of my brain. It
any
doesn't
of those
even register.
things. I'm just like,
when it comes to online shooters, I like very, very skill-based shooters. Like where shooting is actually skill-based, not.
We're not saying that they're not good.
Yeah, we just don't.
I'm saying that Jeff specifically never played them, and I specifically never played. They are great. I'm not saying WoW is not good.
No doubt.
But like someone that can build extremely well, but aims like they can't hit the broadside of a barn.
Sure.
But because they can build well, they can beat you. Like to me, that's garbage. Like
I think it's great.
A shooter should be
a shooter should be a shooter.
Yeah.
You guys, Chaz was like a Counter-Strike pro. So like he's coming from a background in shooters.
I have to know every single like spray pattern and all that.
Minecraft makes my list. I
have that on Switch.
I enjoy
my kid
playing
wanted
Minecraft.
it. Emma wanted it, and like she just never plays it.
I
tried it for a little bit, and I was like, I built a bunch of stuff. I destroyed a bunch of stuff. I dug to the center of the earth. I went to like Dark Realm, and I was like,
I do not enjoy the building part of Minecraft. I enjoy the redstone, aka the mechanical part, where
I
filled mountains. Dude, I just filled mountains with TNT, and I was like, Emma, what is this? And I would just like destroy continents, and I was like, this is the only fun thing about this. But this is coming from the same guy that would do the cheat code for the tank in GTA and just like.
But so with Minecraft, you can abuse the code to like make certain mobs spawn, and you can farm them, and that's what I enjoy is like abusing that kind of shit.
Sure. So fishing and hunting games, never even. I played like maybe one or two. Never got into them. I put the whole Tekken series because like I never played it, but I love all of those games.
It's a crappy version of like Street Fighter in that.
Yeah, it's a way crappier version of All Fighters.
Very opinion based because that's probably the #1 selling PlayStation franchise.
And it's a big. There's like a big tournament series on that too.
Yeah, there's a massive.
I understand that. I just never got into that Virtua Fighter, Soul Calibur.
Never got into any of Soul Calibur's a great call. Never got into any of those.
I'm a category hater.
I'm a genre hater.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No, but like
I never got fighting games, man.
Mortal Kombat's probably the only one that I ever got into, and Street Fighter, like because I had that game for the console for Sega, and it was very unique. Like it was amazing. Mortal Kombat's just fun. But every other game fatalities. Every other game in that category, like went right past me. I never did it.
So to cap things off for the show on fishing and hunting games, I do want to say that they keep trying. And I've just never seen one that looks anywhere near appealing. Like, I do not want an open world type game where I become a bass fishing pro and do tournaments and like fish for whatever and like pick my lures.
Was made by Bass Pro Shop.
I want to just do that in real life. Like that's what we do on the show. So I'd rather do that. And also Big Buck Hunter, which is next to Golden Tea at every like restaurant in Podunk, Michigan. Like not about it. Right. Go proceed with your point. What you got?
After playing Red Dead 2, It changed my mind on hunting and fishing games because like that structure of playing that I that's all I wanted to do with that whole game
at all.
I know that's what I'm saying, but like if that were a
was
game,
that,
I would go get that game because
it's
that
an
was
RPG style game.
I know that's what I'm saying. I want that. I want more of that. I want just that in a console. I would play that all day.
I get it.
Also, I'm done, but we missed one thing that I think is really important. Maybe the most fun multiplayer game that like we totally didn't talk about. Half-Life, right? Half-Life has
because we didn't get some PC games.
But the multiplayer in the original Half-Life was off the freaking hook. Like it was silly how much fun that was. So I want to make sure that we call that out because Half-Life should have been called out on the consoles or PCs, however you want to look at it, because they were great for all of them.
It's just PC.
Sure, that's fine. But the multiplayer on that like you could never play Half-Life 2 story mode, and if you just played multiplayer, you would have gotten plenty of enjoyment and not been upset.
The new VR Half-Life is extremely good as well.
Oh wow. Yeah, we didn't get into those either. All right, so that wraps up our second inaugural nerd episode number 2, the Burly Fishing Nerd Hour. So thank you for nerding out with us for a little bit. You know, this is one of those things we had to pre-record these episodes. We get to pre-record these episodes. I'm very happy to do this, by the way. This was a ton of fun tonight for us. Hopefully it was a ton of fun for you. And if it wasn't, that's totally cool too. Please give us feedback. Just let us know if you like this type of episode or not. If you'd rather us do it live, we can do one live. We're definitely not changing the show. This is like episodes 73 and 74 were the Nerd Hour. So out of 74 episodes, only 2 of them have been completely off topic, but kind of on fun stuff that we cherish in our hearts and souls. So we wanted to share that with you and have some arguments and potentially create rifts in our friendships. And it was a lot of fun. Hopefully,
and who knows? Maybe we can get Jeff to stream playing video games as well.
Maybe we'll start our Twitch back up, which we still have, and like maybe do something with it. We'll definitely not play fishing and hunting games. But maybe we fish in hunt in Red Dead Redemption 2 or something. I don't know.
We should get Jeff to play horror games.
Live. I would play horror games. Dude, the jump scares, so enjoyable.
Better idea.
Like, thank you.
Why don't we only play multiplayer games 1v1?
Or
3 or one like
it's not 1v1.
How do you do 1v1v1?
Sure.
Well,
all 3 of us?
It's not 1v1v1, but it's a horror game where you can have up to 4 players playing it at the same time.
No, I'm saying
we should play Friday the 13th game. No, we should play Friday the 13th where one of us gets to be Jason and everybody else has to be.
That game is garbage. I was talking.
It's complete garbage, which is why it's so great.
I was talking more about like Phasmophobia or Dead by Daylight.
I'm down for that. Scary games are fun for me, but you know what? We're just talking about this. If you guys like the idea of this concept or whatever, and you want us to try something like this, we'll definitely consider it. We'll figure it out. And if you want more episodes like this, again, let us know if you want it to go live. If not, if you're okay with this being like a filler episode when we haven't been able to do our live stream because last week we were at ICAST. I'm saying from the past, like I'm not there yet, but hopefully it was enjoyable. Hopefully we gave you a lot of great content. And you know, this week Chaz is gone. Hi Chaz, you're gone.
Yeah.
And you know, we're just doing what we can right now to still pump out an episode, still get in front of you guys. If you'd rather we only talk about fishing stuff, that's okay too. Just let us know that. Say shut up nerds and talk about fishing things. I want you to fish. That's what I watch you for. And that's totally fine too. I totally get it. But hey, that's all we got for you guys tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you did, be sure to subscribe, smash the like, ring the notification bell. Let us know, you know, things we messed up that you disagree with in the comments below. I'd love to see a good little community gathering in the comment thread when I'm watching this later. I think it'll be a lot of fun. And we'll be back next week, actually live, probably with a guest, which we may have kidnapped from iCast, you know, allegedly. We'll see. Who should we kidnap? Let us know in the comments below. All right, you guys. That's what we got for tonight. Love you. Miss you. We'll be back live soon. Chaz, take us out.